Hello everybody and welcome to my Arrow mid-season finale review. This is episode 9, titled The Climb. Out of the 3 shows I've been reviewing, Flash, Gotham, and Arrow mid-season finale was by far the best mid-season finale. It really promised a lot of things, future in the series, and it had a very, very big surprise ending that the other 2 shows kind of had a nice little bow, kind of. Left a little bit of loose ends, but nowhere near as big as this loose end, and I'll get into that in a second, and then of course it's my number 1. So let's jump in. Number 5. Kind of a reoccurring theme throughout the series that started end of or the mid-season finale of season 2. It's been a kind of recurring theme that the flashbacks have come back to bite Oliver in the butt, and that shows again in this episode. League of Assassins are the forefront enemies of this episode. It's about Oliver facing what happens with Sarah's killer, and Nyssa telling Ra's that they need to kill whoever killed Sarah. And we learn more about the League of Assassins and who's in the League of Assassins. So far we've learned that Sarah's been trained by him, and Malcolm's been trained by them. And also we've had Nyssa as kind of a reoccurring character throughout the show. And now we have another character new to this season. He's been in the Hong Kong flashbacks, and so that's of course Maceo. I haven't really talked about it much. I haven't really talked about the flashbacks that much because flashbacks take a back seat most of the time in the episodes, except one episode per season. It was the Odyssey last season, the Promise last season. In this season, it was the most recent episode, The Return, and we'll get into that in a couple weeks. Sorry, by the way, this video is late. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll upload 3 more videos after this later today. Maceo is part of the League of Assassins, so he comes into we see him in the present day, and we see him when Oliver kind of goes to League of Assassins headquarters in Starling City. Sorry, reading notes right here, and to find out who killed Sarah's, who is Sarah's killer. Ra's, yes. I always get Christopher Nolan's and the actual pronunciation mixed up. Christopher Nolan's trilogy pronounces it Ra's, or Raz. The actual pronunciation is Ra's. I mean, there really is no correct way, and I don't know if DC has made an official statement saying which way it is, but the most common pronunciation is Ra's. With the Batman Arkham games, I believe the Batman animated series pronounced it this way, and Arrow is also pronouncing it Ra's. He tells Maceo to kill innocent lives in Starling City until they find out who killed Sarah. And we will find out in this episode who killed Sarah. Save that for that's my number 3. But now number 4, something about the flashbacks. Talking about flashbacks, we were told before the season started that Katana would be a character in the season. She hasn't got her name yet, but we have seen her get some action in this episode. Maceo's wife, forget what her name is, but we do see her with some Katana action in the flashbacks this season when they're going after trying to find Maceo, and she ends up pulling out her sword and doing some Katana sword action with Shina Wayne. I forget how to pronounce. I'm pronouncing the Triad Lady from season 1. She's in the flashbacks in Hong Kong. Don't know if I mentioned that before, but she is. So that was cool to see Katana. We get to see some more of her later on in the season, very, very soon in the season, and we'll talk about that next episode. Next episode will be uploaded later today, actually, the mid-season premiere. No, sorry, we don't see her mid-season premiere. We see her the episode after that. So next week. Okay, number 3. Who killed Sarah? That's answered in this episode, and it is Thea. Yes, I said right, Thea. With bow and arrow, we know she's been training with Malcolm and Corto Maltese, and she's now back home. But they weren't in Corto Maltese the entire time. Malcolm drugged Thea so she wouldn't remember anything, brought him to Starling City and told her to kill Sarah. He did this to have Oliver go and tell Ra's that he killed Sarah, so that they would go and fight in a death match, basically a combat trial. You can just be sentenced to death, or you can do a combat trial by climbing a mountain. The climb. Throughout the episode, we see Oliver climbing this mountain, and he gets to the top at the end of the episode, and we'll get to that in a second. But basically, Malcolm's plan is that he obviously believes that Oliver can kill Ra's, because if he does, all the blood debt from Ra's reign is wiped clean, which means the undertaking. The League of Assassins are after Merlin, so if Oliver kills Ra's, that blood debt is erased, and he doesn't have to worry about the League of Assassins coming after him. So he does this to get Oliver to go and kill Ra's. So Thea killed Sarah. Big revelation. First we didn't know who it was, then we thought it was Komodo, then we thought it was Roy, and now we know it is Thea. And up to this point, I will tell you that Laurel does not know, and as far as I can tell, Laurel is not going to be told by Oliver. So, tension right there. Number 2, kind of taking a backseat in this episode, but still very important for later on in the series, and actually in The Flash, episode 18, I believe, The Atom. Roy Palmer, at the end of last episode, or the episode before, 7 or 8, the end of the episode, we see him making the Atom suit. And we get to go in more into that, and he asks Felicity to join him on his crusade. And Felicity says yes. Now she's helping Team Arrow and Atom. And we learn what Atom stands for. It stands for Advanced Technology Operating Mechanism. ATOM, Atom. I don't know if that's an acronym in the comics or not. I don't think so, but it is here, and that's really cool. We have seen photos of what he looks like, but I'll talk about that when we actually see it in the show, which will be next episode or the episode after. I'm not sure when we'll get to see Atom. Not like an instant premiere, like episode 15, like this coming premiering episode. I'm behind, guys. Don't worry about it. And also we learn his motivation behind this. During Slade's invasion, Palmer's fiancée was killed. So he's trying to help the world become a better place by becoming the Atom and saving people. He's also taken over Queen Consolidated, renamed it Palmer Technologies. Felicity's now his right-hand girl. So he's trying to help the world, help the city become a better place. We name it Star City like it is in the comics and all this. So Atom's in forefront now, and we do see him coming. He is coming. We have seen screenshots, and if you're watching this, you're probably feeling the show, and you've seen screenshots of the Atom suit. So that's really exciting. And finally, number 1, the ending. Like I said earlier, the entire episode, we see little snippets of Oliver climbing this mountain. At the end of the episode, he gets to the top of the mountain for the combat trial against Ra's al Ghul. Earlier in the episode, when Oliver challenges him to the combat trial in Starling City, Ra's says he's 67 years since he's last been trialed, since he's last been tested. So that makes me wonder, how old is Ra's? In episode 4, The Magician, the 50th episode of the show, we get our first look at Ra's al Ghul, and he's getting out of this like pool. I can assume it's some kind of concentrated Lazarus pit. If you don't know what that is, it's basically what Ra's uses to stay immortal in comics. So apparently he may not be immortal, but he's extremely old. He looks like he's in his 60s. But he had to be in control of the League of Assassins. So either he's in control since he was like a baby, or he's incredibly old. And his daughter's... Okay, so I'm just trying to think about it. Like, how old can he be? He has Nyssa, 20s, probably. Let's say he had her when she was in his 20s. So it's mind-boggling how old he is. They're actually making this Ra's al Ghul not grounded like the rest of the show is. The Flash is their metahuman, and Arrow's more of their grounded universe. And they have this extremely old guy who's, for all we know, immortal. We don't know yet, even now in the episodes. That's incredible. And now they have a combat trial, Oliver versus Raish Al Ghul, which literally means the demon head. Why would you challenge something like that, Oliver? But he does, and the ending, the episode literally ends with the end of this fight. Like, the conclusion of the episode happens, and it goes to credits. And the ending is Oliver gets stabbed and kicked off the cliff, and we're assuming he's dead. That's the end of the episode. The show has to have a lot of guts to do that. This show is amazing. Like, it's my favorite show. The fact that they can do that is incredible. This has been my favorite episode so far, and it still is, I think, just because of the end of this episode, like, guts that Andrew Krindenberg and Greg Berlanti have had to do this, to kill off their main character. It's incredible. I said I would stop giving ratings. 10 out of 10. Easily 10 out of 10. I was giving it 5 ratings out of 5 last time, but 10 out of 10. Easy. So I've been EverGamer. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe, and wait for later, probably tomorrow, because I have work to do today, for my Gotham, Flash, and Arrow. My Arrow and Flash mid-season review and Gotham episode 12 review will come out tomorrow. Professor Layton will start back up Monday. I have to record that probably later today, so I can edit the videos, and those will continue pretty much until the series is over. I don't know when. 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks. 2 months. There's 9 chapters, and there are 8 more left. So 2 months, 8 weeks until that series is over. But yeah, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe. I've been EverGamer. Until next time, God bless. See you then.